Good evening to all of you faithful viewers of Equinoxe Television. 6 p.m. by 6 o'clock is the news hour. Thank you so much for joining us. Our major stories right away tonight. Do you know the importance of always washing your hands as many times as possible daily? Do you know you can contract several viruses and diseases within a day just by eating with dirty hands? As we join other countries today to observe the World Hand Hygiene Day, health experts will explain to you why and how to wash our hands properly and frequently. And on a sad note, Equinoxe Television continues to mourn the sudden passing away of one of ours. Jacques Nomolon's remains were removed from the mortuary in Nous today, an emotional moment for his colleagues and family members present for the corpse removal in Nous. Viewers, those are our major stories. Stay with us for details and more. Welcome back, viewers. Thank you so much for being with us. We begin with these elements from the southwest region of the country, precisely in Limbe, where at least 1,000 kilograms of different species of protected animal were seized by the forest guards in an operation launched by the Southwest Regional Delegate for Forestry and Wildlife. The three suspects who had the items will face sanctions according to the law of the country. Mala Glory tells us more.
Varieties of protected species killed by some individuals of Batoke village, a locality in the Fako Division Southwest region, were seized in the course of an operation launched by the Southwest Regional Delegation for Forestry and Wildlife.
We have all the three categories of animals as classified in the Forestry and Wildlife laws. We have category A animals that were seized, like such as the chimpanzee. We have the drills. We also have category B species of animals like the python. We also have a good number of category C animals such as cane rats, porcupine, and the futambo. Among these animals, or bushmeat that were seized, we have some that were dry and a good number of them are still fresh.
These animals protected by the Cameroon law, individuals who violate the law by hunting the animals are punished accordingly.
For class A and D of animals that are captured without authorization, you have a fine that ranges from 3 million to 10 million, or an imprisonment terms of 1 to 3 years, or it can be both the fines and the imprisonment duration.
The suspects have been handed over to the competent authorities for further investigations, and for the animals that were seized, some will be burnt and others auctioned.
And we told you in the headlines, viewers, that today Cameroon joins other countries to observe the World Hand Hygiene Day. Health experts say poor hygiene accounts for the numerous cases of cholera infections in Cameroon and other diseases. They urge Cameroonians to wash their hands with water and soap in order to prevent diseases and also save lives. Immaculate Fogwe spoke to some Cameroonians who explained to us how their hand washing routine looks like.
Hand washing remains a powerful weapon against deadly diseases caused by microorganisms found around us. Water and soap are the major ingredients needed to prevent viruses and bacteria from spreading. Questioning some Cameroonians on the streets, they explained to us how their hand washing routine looks like.
Généralement, quand je suis à la maison,
when I am home, I wash my hands whenever I think it is dirty. I wash them 3 times a day. I think I know how to wash my hands. I wash my hands after coming out of the toilet, before cooking, and if I came in contact with something I suspect might have been contaminated, I equally wash my hands. Health experts say poor hand hygiene accounts for the rise in cholera cases in Cameroon.
Bien, le manque d'hygiène ou l'absence d'hygiène des mains.
There is no specific time for one to wash their hands. As a medical expert, I wash my hands before and after tending to a patient. For those at home, it is important to wash your hands before and after a meal, after leaving the toilet, and also whenever you think you came in contact with a suspected infected case.
Maladie manipulée, ça veut dire le gel.
Knowing how to wash your hands is very essential. With the aid of soap and water, you wet your hands and later apply the soap. You then rub your palms together, rub the back of your hands, interlink your fingers, clean the thumbs and later rinse with clean water. Global Hand Washing Day, commemorated on May 5th, is a day dedicated to increasing awareness and understanding about the importance of hand washing as a way to prevent diseases and save lives.
We now take you to the Lebialem division of the Southwest region, one of the areas badly hit by the Anglophone crisis. Fontem now has a new divisional officer. Fidelis Tanyinga was installed recently in Minty by the senior divisional officer for the Lebialem division. The newly installed is aware of the daunting task ahead of him in the very restive Lebialem. Let's now have more with Lucy Liengu Esia, who takes us to Fontem.
Fidelis Tayinda is the newly installed divisional officer of Fontem in the Lebialem division. He was installed by Aban Fabianka, senior divisional officer of Lebialem. During his installation ceremony, he was reminded of an uphill task ahead.
You see, most of the officers are almost close. He has to stay put to continue to assure the population that they should come back. There is life in Menji. There is no major security challenge. He has to work together with the traditional authorities and religious leaders to bring back life.
Hit by the over 6 years armed conflict, Fontem is one of the 3 subdivisions of Lebialem most affected by the crisis. Fidelis Tayinda reassures the population for a return to normalcy.
I will try all my best to see that this upheaval that is disturbing this subdivision that I'm taking command today, to see that all things will come to normalcy, because you know that Fontem subdivision is a place that people are thinking that there is no execution of budget, and they know that there is no population, and they are thinking that there is no life in Fontem subdivision. But I assure the population today that at least there is a change, and I will fight with all my ways that I can use to combat all the terrorists that are disturbing this Fontem subdivision.
He calls on the youth who have abandoned their village as a result of the crisis to return home.
This year also there is a water project going on. Yesterday we went and we visited a fish pond down there, showing that if the fish pond is operational, at least employment. So we are calling on the youth to come back. Those who have abandoned their village and gone to town, this is Changan, Boya, Limbe, and elsewhere, that they should come back so that we can work together so that normalcy can return to Fontem subdivision.
At the end of the installation ceremony, the senior divisional officer welcomed Fidelis Tayinda into office while ensuring that all is in place for work to start effectively.
And the wind of internal conflicts continue blowing through the Social Democratic Front. The SDF with militants rising against what they qualify as undemocratic practices at all levels. The most recent case in point is the Momo electoral district, where there was another infighting that was yesterday. Babila Jonathan reports.
The renewal of Social Democratic Front SDF party organs turns violent in Mombo, Bonalea subdivision, littoral region of Cameroon. After Mbanga, where militants crossed the carpet to other parties, Lum and Bafoussam, the power tussle in the Social Democratic Front is taking another twist in Mombo, following the election of officials of the 14 cells in Mombo. The militants say they came for the announcement of candidates for the electoral district election, but were taken aback by an election tailored to impose one of their comrades, Diego Martin, as electoral district chairman against their will.
Ils sont en train d'imposer certains membres, certains camarades, certains postes. Mais ce n'est pas ça le SDF. Le SDF de la démocratie, c'est un parti démocrate. Dans le cas où ils veulent imposer, nous allons nous opposer. Nous serons dans le désordre. Que c'est la hiérarchie ou bien les autorités compétentes qui viendront de trancher cette histoire. Parce que pour aspirer à un poste dans le SDF, il faut passer par les élections.
They have rejected the result of the election organized by the commission sent by the party's hierarchy. And they are asking for a rerun.
If they don't take time, big people for open the day, they don't take time for fix the problem.
She is urging the hierarchy of the party to take necessary measures to resolve the conflict to avoid the death of the SDF in Mombo.
Away from politics in Yaoundé, security officers have called on parents to be very vigilant with the resurgence of some young men who call themselves Lemicope. This group of bandits terrorized the local population. Recently, an 18-year-old upper six student was stabbed to death in front of the military stadium in Yaoundé. For me, I'm from Sanda, tells us more.
Voices subdued by emotions and could barely be heard. Virginie Bezele Itundi is overwhelmed by grief at the premises of the 1st Gendarmerie region in Yaoundé. Standing close to her are accused killers of her son. 18-year-old Meva Abdon Zang, student of Terminal, an equivalent of Upper 6 in the English subsystem of education, was killed at the explanade of the military stadium on April 7, 2023 by the accused gang of young men. Presented to the public, the mother of the victim could not contain her pains.
Une bande de jeunes hommes armés d'armes blanches.
Lieutenant Colonel Guy Abanda-Vogo of the Criminal Research Unit says young Zhang was stabbed and killed by this gang of young bandits as he attempted to resist their harassment.
Au collège Les As de
Michelle Gono, sister to the deceased Zhang, watched the scene from start to finish and narrate what happened. They came and started harassing us. They took 600 francs from one of us and searched everybody. When my brother came and asked what happened, they started beating him. They fell on him and got him severely beaten. He then ran away and alerted soldiers on the other side. When they came and started questioning, one of them called my brother at his side and started telling my brother that my brother is his younger one. If not, he would have dealt with him. As my brother stood listening to him, he removed a knife and immediately stabbed my brother. A shocking assassination that got the gendarmerie officials immediately to work. Lieutenant Colonel Abanda says he and his men had to get to work throughout the night of Friday and Saturday, searching from Guayaquil to the Dakar neighborhoods and arresting these gang members he qualified as the microbes.
Ils font partie de ce qu'on appelle les microbes, parce que c'est des agresseurs à l'arme blanche.
Signaling the presence of the microbes gang in Yaoundé, the Lieutenant Colonel called on parents to be more responsible, vigilant, and monitor the movements of their children. The security commander says the young men, members of the microbe gang, falls within the ages of 16 to 20. Beside the public presentation of the accused killers of Abdon Zhang, another gang specialized in stealing by shooting was also presented.
And now on to this dark pitch at Equinoxe Television, we continue morning one of ours. Jacques Molong. Several mourners today gathered at the Nous Municipal Mortuary for the corpse removal of our correspondent in the Mongo. An emotional moment, especially for his family, the wife and kids he left behind, including his colleagues who are still in shock. Lucy Liengu Asia comes back to the day full of tears in Lum.
The Lum District Hospital mortuary was filled to capacity this Friday as the remains of Equinoxe TV correspondent from Mongo and Kupe Mwanenguba division was confined. Among these mourners were commercial bike riders who danced with the picture of the deceased. A commercial motorbike rider who transported Jacques Moulon on the fateful day he died recounted to us what he and Jacquino discussed. He said I should take him home so that he can have his camera. Then he told me he was going to Bangem. After we left his place around Chantier Naval, he dropped from the bike to check on someone. Then he received a call from the people coming from Boya that they should meet at the Tombe roundabout. I asked when he will return. He said he will the next day. Then I equally asked why he has not taken his pullover. Later in the day, I was shocked to hear that he is dead.
One day around 5 o'clock, I went for garage. I be surprised so mommy come up for church and tell me say so Jacquino don't die. Jacquino don't die in a house.
A first weekend mass was held at the mortuary before the corpse was taken to the Catholic Church of Lum. The Reverend Father in his homily pleaded that God should welcome Jacquino, who was loved by all in Lum. He also prayed for strength to the family. The corpse of Jacquino was later taken to his job site for a brief stopover before his residence. Jacquino Moulon, who died after a ghastly accident at Bad Village in the midweek, will be lowered to Mother Earth this Saturday in Bacham Village, West Region.
A difficult, a very bitter pill to swallow there. Welcome back, viewers. We are now moving on to the second part of the news, which is talking points. We noticed recently that there have been some brutal attitudes of spectators in some stadia across the national territory, and we also know that matches counting for the playoffs of the Elite One Championship will begin later in this month of May. What can be done to stop that brutal attitude in stadia across Cameroon? We will be talking that with a sports analyst. He is the president of the Southwest Sports Journalist. He is based in Limbe. Thank you so much, Abong Cletus, for accepting to be our guest tonight on Talking Points. We are talking about brutality in some pitches or fields across the national territory. What, according to you, can account for such attitudes?
Truly, cases of violence have been recorded in some of our pitches in the country recently, and I think it is a growing concern for every Cameroonian football stakeholder. If I want to dissect what account for this rise in the country, I think the first point I have to say here is frustration. Frustration in the sense that when people go to the field to watch matches, they go with one intention, that they have to win. They have to win. And when their wish or wishes are not granted, or they don't achieve it at the end, they become frustrated and they find the slightest opportunity to pass that frustration to the match officials who are there, who are there to, like, the coordinator or the overseer of a football game. So they unleash their frustration, anger, and bitterness on this match official, because the level of barbarism that we currently have in our pitches is a big call for concern.
And Mr. Cletu, some people think that the violence by spectators is because some referees are biased, they are not fair while referring matches. Can that also be a reason?
There is no reason that will push supporters or players or football officials or club officials, beg your pardon, to attack referees on the basis that the officiating were not fair. These referees are human beings like me and you. There is no perfect human being on earth. And when there is no perfection, we are bound to make errors once in a while. Even if those errors are intentionally, the game of football preaches fair play, that you accept the outcome of any game. FIFA is very frank on this. And we expect that the spectators should equally accept fair play irrespective of the outcome of the game. But when they turn the referees to be boxing machines, that is where there is a problem, a big problem. So we should not consider as any tangible reason that pushes these uncultured supporters to go and attack referees and unleash their bitterness and frustration on them. No, we are human beings and we have to respect ourselves.
And now let's talk about sanctions. Don't you think if those spectators who are violent are severely sanctioned, then it can dissuade other violent people from attacking referees?
Perpetrators of violence during matches need severe sanctions. Severe sanctions. If we need to put things in order that we don't in subsequent times see such behavior again in our pitches, then the federation need to stand up and take very, very severe sanctions against those who invade pitches, who go and vomit their frustrations on match officials by hitting them or by kicking and doing all sorts of things during or after a game. Because if sanctions are not given, they will give room for more persons to maybe queue in and follow what has been happening in other pitches, that in a Boulevard it happened, nothing was done. In Yaoundé it happened, nothing was done. So in Bamenda, Boya, Limbe or Douala, we can do it, nothing will be done to us. So people should be identified. With a modern way, people should be identified and slam serious sanction. And when such is done, it will scare others who have that same mentality, that if we play today or tomorrow and the referee is like not on our side or on the side of our opponent, we are going to beat him. It will make them to stop or maybe remove such ideas in their mind. So the FA has the responsibility to put an end to this by ensuring that when such situation comes up again, those identified should be severely punished, so that it will serve as a lesson, a big lesson, of course, to others who are exhibiting this poor and very, very condemning act that is giving a very bad image to our football and to our country.
Yes, let's use you about talking about responsibility. Let's talk about that detailing somehow. Who should be responsible for this violence, or who should take the blame?
Yes, on a serious note, I will blame both parties. Let me start with the club officials. The club officials, it is incumbent, or it is our responsibility to educate their fans at all times. When they are going for games, whether home or away matches, the club officials need to educate their spectators or their fans that irrespective of what will come out of the match, even though we are expecting a victory to qualify or to lift the trophy, if it doesn't come, let's respect the outcome of the game. Let there be fair play at the end of it, so that the players of both teams embrace themselves, likewise the officials, to accept the laws and the rules of the game of football. So the club officials, they too are partly blamed. And the the spectators or the fans, they are heavily blamed.
And now, Mr. Cletus, before we go, any recommendation, if you are asked to propose a solution to end violence in pitches, what are you going to push forward?
Recommendations to table down. Firstly, let the clubs educate their supporters. Their supporters should be educated that the outcome of any game shouldn't ignite trouble and whatsoever. If the players are constantly educated before they go for any game, I think this issue of crowd invasion, referee attack is going to reduce in our country. And again, the players who are the main actors, because at times these players, they instigate the spectators or the supporters to attack referees. When the players are there pressing on the referee, attacking the referee, insulting the referee, and causing a whole lot of things in the field, this pushes the spectators to come in and start bringing in trouble. So the players need to put in their minds that as players, it is fair play.
Thank you so much, Mr. Cletus Abong, for accepting to be our guest on Talking Point tonight. Just to precise that you are the president of sports journalists in the southwest region of the country. Thank you again, and hope to have you some other time. Viewers, we thank you so much for always choosing Equinoxe Television. As usual, don't go away, please. Our programs continue. The news in the French language comes up at 8 p.m. and Equinoxe Soir comes up at 7 p.m. Stay with us on Equinoxe Television and have a beautiful weekend. Bye-bye for now.